Hello and welcome to another episode of A Ghost Hunter Watches. Today I welcome in a very special, wonderful guest. She is the co-host of the See You on the Other Side podcast and the drummer and violin extraordinaire of the band Sunspot, which does all sorts of paranormal themed rock songs. Please welcome Miss Wendy Lynn Stotts.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
We're doing a movie that I've been wanting to do since I conceived of the idea for the show. But now is the best time to do it because we just visited the actual location where the events took place. Yes. Where were we?
Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Yes. Which means we can only be talking about one amazing, cryptid, paranormal, supernatural story. And that, of course, is, oh yes, and we went to the museum. The Mothman Prophecies. Came out just recently in 2002 with Richard Gere. Great, one of my favorite spooky, it's not a scary movie, it's more of a mystery, I think.
Yeah, but it has its moments.
Yeah, there's a jump here or there.
Yeah.
Let's just start with location, since we were just in Point Pleasant.
Yes.
And the movie was not filmed in Point Pleasant, it was filmed in a small suburb of Pittsburgh.
Right.
So,
and I was just going to give a little background of the fact that I had not seen the Mothman Prophecies prior to our visit there, so I was thoroughly schooled by the Museum of Mothman, so I read every exhibit, every bit of evidence there.
So when we look at this, in this case, the story takes place in 1967, and when we're going to try to separate fact from fiction, we kind of don't really know, other than what Keel, the author, has told us. One of the first, well, he was probably really the only paranormal investigator at that time especially, that was going down there, interviewing witnesses, trying to get a feel for what was going on.
And recording everything meticulously.
There were so many details in the film that felt like Point Pleasant, even though we weren't in Point Pleasant. And the thing that always jumped out to me was the faded, painted on advertisements on the sides of brick buildings.
Downtown Point Pleasant really has the feel of kind of an abandoned town that was once hopping.
Sure.
And so yeah, the faded, there's a lot of empty storefronts, and then the faded ads on the brick that you're referring to.
Sure.
Kind of give hints of the old town that it once was.
Also, what makes a location, you can't just look at the structures and the environment, but also the people. Mm-hmm. And we did meet some very colorful people down in Point Pleasant. Some people that weren't actually fans of the movie, The Mothman Prophecies.
Surprisingly. I didn't think it was particularly derogatory the way they depicted them, so I didn't think it was insulting or anything like that, but as I kind of expected after the reaction we saw from the guy that hated the movie so much. Our experience with the people in Point Pleasant was wonderful, I thought.
It was very pleasant.
We didn't have a ton of interactions with people, but at our hotel, at the Mothman Museum, and then at
the statue outside of it.
Yes, like everyone we ran into just was friendly and polite and nice. Having been to a lot of other small towns, I gotta say I've been to other towns where it was not that friendly of a feeling, you know?
Okay, that's great.
Where people are kind of like, you're the outsider, you know.
Let's keep it that way.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Jumping back into the movie, the townsperson we really get to know the most, other than the sheriff, is Gordon. He's a guy that experienced things, and
he's tormented.
He's very, he experiences everything. They did a good job making him an amalgam of a lot of different characters from the book.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there.
Because otherwise, so many different people had experiences that if you're going to establish that many different characters, it's going to become a documentary. It's not going to, you won't have the flow of the story because you're reestablishing people. Laura Linney plays Connie. She is the town cop, kind of the main townsperson that Richard Gere's character, John, works with a lot. And she's really based off of a journalist, not a police officer.
Right.
Mary Hyre.
Yes,
her name.
that was it.
So Mary Hyre, in real life, she was a local reporter, and let's get to a reveal right now that blew my mind from the very beginning of the book. It's a UFO story.
Oh gosh, so much UFO.
You watch the movie, and it's a bizarre cryptid that has like prophecy, future-telling abilities, but you don't really get the alien aspect of it very much at all. But the book is predominantly about lights in the sky, Men in Black, all sorts of elements that is, extraterrestrial. And we don't get too much of that in the movie at all.
In the book, Keel talks so much about seeing the lights in the sky and like interacting with the lights in the sky. Like he flashes lights up at them and they move in different ways. And none of that was in the movie.
And there's some like crazy experiences where a craft is landed and walked up to, which we actually get a little bit about. We get a little bit in the Mothman Prophecies when we are introduced to Ingrid Cold, which is kind of neat. I'm getting the chills actually right now talking about this, the goosebumps a little bit, because it is such a creepy thing in the book as it is in the movie. A person talks about driving on the street. This alien type creature is there, comes up and kind of speaks telepathically with the driver of the car. And we do see a little bit of that. We don't obviously see a UFO or anything like that, but we do see this kind of cryptic conversation, which ends with,
"I'll see you in time."
Yes, "I'll see you in time." Which is, again, getting more to the root of what exactly is going on here. Who are these visitors that are coming to Point Pleasant? Which is such a big part of the book and not really that big of a part of the movie.
Yeah, definitely. I was super surprised. I mean, having not seen the movie and then listening to the book.
Yeah.
I was just expecting it to be all about seeing, winged humanoids.
Sure. Yeah.
Like flying around town with red eyes. And I mean, that is a very, very small fraction of the book and the movie.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, the imagery is throughout the movie, of course, but the actual, sightings are pretty...
That was like one small stage of the invasion. Before we move on to story, get into Richard Gere's character, who is based on John Keel, which is why he is John. Why Gere's character is named John. But it's funny because there's two characters based on Richard Keel.
Well, the other one, he's Mr. Paranormal, so of course he has to be all weird acting, total crazy. He's just the stereotypical kind of kooky, off the deep end sort of.
I like this guy because he's he has perspective that's different, and that's what Richard Gere's character, that's what John needs.
It's true, but as far as the comparing him to John Keel,
sure,
because John Keel is so analytical and methodical with his research and everything. I just didn't get the impression from that character that
this guy's damaged.
yeah, for sure.
The neat thing is he's damaged because he's been too close. He's flown too close to the Mothman.
Yes. His wings weren't made of wax.
Richard Gere's character, based on John Keel. John Keel was a journalist. I think I got from the book, at least, it seemed like he was a freelance journalist, not specifically a Washington Post journalist. This movie makes him seem like a really high up, like
a political journalist almost.
Yeah, he's a political journalist and he's kind of prestigious.
I got the impression that John Keel was writing stories about UFOs and paranormal things prior to this.
Sure.
I don't know if that's true or not. I guess I should review the timeline.
It would make sense, because why else would people be saying, "Hey John, this is a story that might interest you"?
Yeah.
There's no story about John Keel having a wife that died in a car accident, or died and had, whatever.
Spoiler.
Well, a spoiler from the first 10 minutes. And if you haven't seen a movie after 17 years, it's 15 years. Story-wise, they did an awesome job. I gotta say, they told the story of two kids making out in in real life it was the TNT area. In the movie they just call it like the old chemical plant. Yeah. Something like that. I don't know, there's some of those little details that they change, again, for no discernible reason.
Because the dynamite plant is the coolest place I can think of for Mothman sightings.
Seriously. So yeah, in real life, there was this this TNT plant that went up around World War II, and it was in service during the war, and at some point after it went out of service, and then it was just this huge, huge abandoned complex. And so, of course, it's... Because we drove to this area as well. This was maybe 15 minutes out of town. High school kids looking for someplace quiet. This was such a place. And in real life, as in the movie, there were a couple of kids going up there, some hanky-panky in the back of a car. It was one of the first experiences witnessing Mothman. And it sounds like typical horror movie fodder, like the hook on the car door, or the scraping fingernails on the roof. But no, this is really how it went down.
Yeah.
Gere's character interviews the kids and they tell the story. And there are some great little details. You see people with puffy and kind of bloodied eyes. And that's something that's established in the book as well. That people, but it didn't have to do with the Mothman, it had to do with looking at UFOs. That people that were seeing these lights in the sky, they would suddenly, their eyes would be all damaged, basically, as if they were staring at the sun.
Well, the lesson is, if you're gonna stare at UFOs, wear your eclipse glasses.
Yeah, go through the pinhole. A big part of the real story that was not apparent in the film, as I briefly mentioned earlier, was Men in Black.
The book, what was it, 12 hours long? I mean, it is just
up there.
packed with information and anecdotes of all these different things. So I felt like the movie just took all of those things and like concentrated and compressed them into this nice little Mothman-y ball.
Sure.
Ball. And then that, I don't know how I could process that, like, without knowing, you know, the full thing.
At the end of the movie, it says, to this day, nobody knows why the bridge collapsed. And that's just not true.
Fact busted.
Leaving that bit of mystery as the last thing in the movie kind of allows you to be okay with not knowing why, like, having lots of gray areas in the paranormal side of this. Like, hey, we don't know in real life, this very physical thing, we don't even know why that fell down. So therefore, don't ask us to explain anything else. It kind of works.
For me, no, not so much.
Of course, yeah.
Because I was like, what are you talking about? I saw it with a 13th eye beam.
Yeah, exactly. And as long as we're talking about that last little graphic, they say that 36 people died, which is why Connie had the premonition with a voice saying, "Wake up, number 37."
Oh dear.
You could have made that 47, because in real life, 46 people died. So why would you've also pulled some of the drama back in saying it was a smaller, not that body count equals drama, but at the same time, why change that number and downgrade it at that? So in real life, Mary Hyre did not die. She was not somebody that fell. Okay. Sorry. You're good. You're right. As did Mr. Keel.
No, she wasn't on the bridge.
So she was not on the bridge. The bridge collapse scene is probably, we talked about it, probably prolonged longer than it actually happened, but it was so effective.
Very disturbing.
It was completely disturbing. Again, this was shot in Pittsburgh on a bridge that didn't collapse.
Yeah, that was like the scariest part of the movie, I thought, when the bridge fell.
Well, especially because we were there. We were standing where the bridge used to exist.
Yep.
The bridge was rebuilt in a different location, but we stood and talked for a while at the site where the bridge used to be. There's a small memorial plaque. John Keel was not present. He wasn't in town at all.
Yeah.
And he got flack, which he talked about. He didn't even fly down there after the bridge collapsed.
Really? That's surprising. Because he was such good friends with so many people.
He seemed to be, he was like part of the fabric of that community after a while. He was kind of accepted because he was somebody from big city that was had an open ear and wanted to hear everybody else's story.
He was an advocate for the truth, basically.
Yeah.
I mean,
and gosh, I'm getting the chills again. Talking about the real story behind it. So in real life, Keel was told, and before I even jump into that, another inaccuracy, which again, this is an acceptable one because you got to get it all in 90 minutes. Keel never talked to Ingrid Colt, but he did talk to yet another bizarre person on the phone that went by the name Apple.
oh yeah.
Keel gets a notification, one of these bizarre phone calls from this very cryptic voice on the other end that there's going to be a huge power surge, power outage in a big chunk of America. And so he stocks up on flashlights and supplies and all this, and he's told exactly when this is going to happen. So he's at home, he's kind of hunkered down, he's watching TV, and it's the night of the White House tree lighting ceremony. And he watches the countdown, which is coinciding. It's very cinematic still, even in the book. The countdown to lighting the tree, which we thought the Eastern Seaboard was going to lose power at that time.
And Y2K all over.
Exactly. But the lights stay on, the tree lights up, everything's fine.
Just like Y2K.
And unlike Y2K, breaking news interrupts the White House feed, and that's when news comes out of the Silver Bridge disaster in Point Pleasant. I can't imagine being him watching that.
Oh gosh, horrible. Yeah, that gives me the chills.
Yeah. So that's one of the differences between the movie and not only that exact moment, but all of the prophecies. They're too accurate to be coincidental, but they're all kind of off.